Ooh, well, here we go. Quick zoom. Hi, I'm Raymond, and you're listening to Insert Quest here. Today, we are going to be playing Numenera. This is Brandon's campaign that he's running for us. Brandon, I believe when we last let off, we were in some kind of underground cave prison.
Yeah, something like that.
Perhaps a vault.
Nah. Underground crave prison. I crave that prison.
Oh
Crave
God.
that prison.
That's right. But yes,
They're not prisons, they're minerals!
we had some interesting uh, interactions with some people.
Teleportation.
Yeah, as you do in Numenera, or was it teleportation? What was it? No one will ever know.
It was
You
a
saw a
it was a
man.
complex hallucination.
That's right. That allowed you to disappear. Um,
Everyone was hallucinating.
that's right. Yeah, I don't know. What did happen last time? Who wants to tell me that?
We went down into the sewer system. We fought a thing that almost killed me, I
We
think.
believe it was a trencher.
We hope. Because if it wasn't, there's still something called a trencher skulking around somewhere down there.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
We found a locked room with a weird glass coffin in it, which we were unable to open or make any sense of. Um, we found a strange kind of window into another world where Raymond actually got transported somewhere.
Mm, yeah, something like that.
And I had this weird proto-futuristic glass-slated touchpad that let me see through things
That's
of a
true.
certain kind. And I
Jacob,
believe we had located our quarry.
Yes.
we left off where we broke through the wall and we were looking into what we thought was the right place,
Yeah.
the Sanctuary of the Eye.
You were actually looking through a small hole in the wall. You hadn't quite broken through yet. Um, so let me set the scene for you.
Oh, please do
Immerse us.
Yeah, I'm
immerse
Ursus.
me.
Um, so from your perspective, the camera kind of pans through the hole, heading through the arched doorway and into the apparent prison of the Sanctuary of the Eye. You can kind of see this through the hole. Cells lined walls, on the walls on both sides, and men and women in chains are housed in these cells. In the center of the area is a large cell that's been hastily constructed. An orange barrier shimmers over the cell itself. There are two people inside looking at the large, slender centipede with a human head. The centipede has what appears to be hair of crystals dangling from its head. It kind of makes a jingling sound that you can barely hear from where you are. As the camera moves to look at um, the other two people in the cell, one quickly turns away from the camera and makes their way to the door of the cell. A guard uses some kind of device to create a small opening, and another one opens the door as the woman starts to leave. She looks back to the man, who is very old. Um, he's kind of hunched, with a very long white beard, pretty much no hair on his head. Um, the camera pauses on her. She's young, dark skinned, kind of matted, dreaded hair. She says to him, Vitkirk, the creature has nothing for us today. Let us leave. Um, the man stares intently at the centipede woman and says something about how it should be ready for the process tomorrow, and that it must provide more information. Mirren's mate, at least what you suppose is Mirren's mate, makes no motion of acknowledgement. The camera points back inside the hole in the wall. It's obvious to even the most casual viewer that the hole through the stone would be difficult to see unless someone was looking for it. As they leave, you see the scene in front of you. Encased in an orange barrier, Mirren's mate, a long, slender centipede with a human-like head, sways and moves in the corner. Their many legs undulate and move strangely. Two guards sit near the door, playing a game with pieces and a board. As the woman and Vitkirk head deeper and presumably up into the sanctuary.
Well, there it is. So, remember that Murin is a name we made up. So don't go in and say, oh, Murin sent us. Because they'll be like,
Who the hell is that?
Yeah, who the hell is that? So, do we want to try and break through this rock? Or something?
How big is the hole currently? Is it just like big enough that we can eyeball through it, or?
It's big enough for about two people to put their heads side by side, comically, with one eyeball each looking out the hole.
Okay.
So it'd be big enough for one person. It's like one single brick out of the wall.
Yeah. But the wall isn't made of brick. Just to be clear.
Do you look at the wall and examine it and feel it?
I shall.
It seems to be some kind of bricky feeling thing, like some kind of stone that has been layered on top of each other with some kind of mortar. And as you kind of touch it...
That's better than like a wall of solid stone, because it takes for fucking ever to get through a wall of solid stone.
If you kind of touch it, it kind of gives way, like, a little bit.
Some kind of spongy stone. So, I am going to... Actually, did they already look around to see if there was another path? I'm going to look around to see if there's another way to, like, circle around. I doubt there will be.
Do you head back into the... whatever it is?
Nah, I'm just gonna like sort of take a quick glance around me and see what I can see in terms of directions and sort of try and infer.
You kind of look around, and behind you is just an expanse of like darkness, from where your light reaches to, beyond that is dark. And then in front of you is just like this apparently strange dead end. And then through the hole itself, you can barely make out that there are cells on the sides, let alone if there's, secondary or tertiary entrances either on the left of or the right of you. You're in kind of like a closet almost. If you were to break through, like it doesn't really look like a closet. It's this very small space. Like when you're looking down, at the floor in this place. It doesn't look like it was meant there. There shouldn't be a wall here, is what you gather.
Hmm.
Are we shielded from view? Like, if we take the wall apart, are they going to see us, or is there stuff in the way? Like, what is?
Maybe from the more experienced eye of P being an explorer of dark places, um, it seems like at some point, whatever this structure was, that this pathway led like through. Like this used to be just like an arched doorway that went deeper into the sewers where you came from.
And they just bricked it off.
Apparently.
Well, Brandon, I have a distress grenade as one of my ciphers.
Mhm.
Could I possibly? You said there are two guards.
Yes.
Could I reach them with a thrown projectile like that, or is there too much stuff in the way? It would be too awkward.
I might be able to. I do throw with deadly accuracy.
Give me a second to look at something, and then I will tell you. Okay, it's an explosive device, so it's short range. Sure, I mean, you can throw it if you want.
Yeah, it says it explodes in an immediate radius with blue vapors. Anyone in the area becomes nauseated and spends 1 round per cipher level vomiting and incapacitated in pain, unable to take actions. So that would
Hopefully
keep
there's
them.
no turn back on that.
Yeah, that would keep them busy for 5 rounds, and
Yeah, it would.
and then we could take down the wall and go through and hopefully not be affected.
Yeah. What does my transformation talk do?
Oh, that's the random mutatable necklace.
Ah,
I
yeah.
thought I had that.
Well, then you can have that. It's listed in the ciphers and it's showing up for me.
It's in everyone's journal because someone picked it up, no one decided to
Yeah.
really take it, but
Yeah.
it's used. So,
Well, I cannot carry another cipher right now, but
Raymond can because he used the one perfect cut, which I deleted because you used it.
I also have the detonation, which I'm pretty sure is a remote control for an explosive, but I don't have explosives for it.
No, it's a electromagnetic detonation.
Ah, okay, that's what it is.
Yes.
Which is useless here. Okay, so if we do use the grenade, we need to be able to tear down this wall quickly, and at the moment we don't even know how easy it's going to be to do that. Where's my character sheet? Perhaps I could swim through the hole.
if only we had some kind of sound mage who could vibrate the wall down.
I
Yeah.
know, right? That'd be great. If only there was some way. Fuck it. I'm going to try and feel for a brick near the hole. Like some kind of brick type thing. One of the solid components of the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna just try and push at it a bit and see how we are with, like, is the wall loose? Like, how long has this wall been here?
You kind of put your hand onto the wall itself, and you kind of mess with the brick, and it kind of crumbles in your hand.
Hmm.
And your hand has turned at least on the palm side, a mysteriously dark red color.
I sort of scratch at the dark red, like is it like a powder or something that's stained my hands?
You kind of scratch at it, and it kind of, like perhaps moisture from your own other hand or something, it kind of touches it, and it all kind of like coagulates into like um, a viscous substance, like almost very similar to blood, kind of just dripping off your hand.
Um, I will wipe my hand on a different part of the wall. One of the older parts of the wall, the pre-existing structure.
Okay, so the left or right side, yeah, you
Yeah.
just kind of put your hand in the slime. No, you wiped your hand on the old um, stone or whatever it is. Yes, stone.
I'm
It's ninth
pretty
world,
sh
Numenera.
I'm pretty sure that Kieran and I could smash this wall, or at least pull it down if we needed to.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
I I have light tools, and we said last time that includes a crowbar, so I can help as well.
I don't even think we'll like need it, like, 'cause you'd want to be ready to throw the grenade in there, is what I'm saying.
All right. Well, I mean, if
Like,
you throw it with deadly accuracy, it's probably better if you throw it because I don't have any kind of skill related to that.
I also don't have a skill related to that, 'cause you can't have. I can't specifically have a throw. I mean, I might be able to have a throw skill, possibly, but I don't have one yet.
Ah,
Yes.
I have a deceit skill now, because that kept coming up.
yeah. All right. If you guys want to, I'll be ready to throw the grenade. Should we throw it before or after?
I think that you should do it, because I think after, because it'll either be real easy to tear down that wall or it won't be. And then
Okay.
we'll know immediately. Like, it'll be like ripping,
So should
um,
we just
it'll be
go
like
back
ripping.
the way we came once we got Mirren's mate, or
I think so. Seems like a good exit strategy to me.
Rather than going further in? Yeah,
hmm
probably.
If we were, if we were playing D&D, I'd be like, yeah, let's go fight through all of the knights. That'll get us some levels. But we're not. We're playing
yeah.
Numenera. And I,
Get
I
killed.
remember, I remember dying that one time because I was stupid. So I'm not gonna do that again.
Yes, go fight the high-leveled Aeon priest. I'm sure
Mm.
that will go well.
Okay, so on the count of three, we tear down the wall. I reckon Kieran to one side and Halim to the other, and we sort of wedge our hands into that currently small hole, and sort of pull as if we were trying to tear a phone book in half.
Sure.
All right. And P will stand slightly back and get ready with the distress grenade.
Alright, so
Okay.
Halim mouths 3, 2, 1, and then Brandon, should we make a might check?
No, I want you both to make me speed defense rolls.
Oh, I can do that.
I can do that.
I'll do the shit out of that.
At 2,
Okay, I automatically pass unless I get a.
unless you get a 1.
Yeah. I got a 20, so.
Okay.
And I needed to get -3.
Oh, nice, I failed.
Really? Really?
I rolled a
So
4.
you both kind of put your hands like onto the thing to like break it open, and it's like 20 times, 100 times easier than you expected. Your hands just kind of rip through it, and um, uh, not expecting this, either of you, you kind of lose your balance as you're like, ready to like have to like work at it, and
Yeah.
so uh, Halim, you just kind of like splatter to the ground, and Kieran, you kind of adjust yourself to not just fall. And if you want to roll or throw that thing, it's difficulty 3, Ryan.
Okay.
Do it.
I'm gonna apply a level of effort. Let's see. That was the 3. Effort is 1. Asset is no. And bonus is no.
Yay!
They both begin coughing as this blue gas starts seeping out of this thing. And I will delete that from your inventory.
I clamber to my feet and say, turn to this centipede and say, I'm pretty sure that your mate has sent us to rescue you.
There, it looks curiously towards the gas spilling out, but it doesn't seem to have noticed you.
Oh. I take a step towards it.
You step into the jail itself. Then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It kind of sees you and kind of stands up as a centipede can. Its hair kind of moves back and forth. You don't hear anything.
And then I say, I don't know if you can understand me, but your mate has sent us to rescue you from this place. And I'm gonna make a persuady type roll.
Positive social interaction thing.
Indeed, I'm going to roll positive social.
It kind of, before you do that, it kind of looks at you and kind of cocks its head, and it raises the 2 longer arms, legs, things, and kind of
Limbs.
like puts them near its head where its ears are,
Mhm.
and like taps them.
I look at its ears, or where its ears would be.
It gets very close to the barrier, the orange barrier, and mouths something to you.
I can hear myself speaking, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it can't hear you through the barrier.
Okay.
Can I search around for something that might deactivate that?
Yeah, are you going to deal with these 2 vomiting men?
Well, I mean, they're kind of. Is the cloud still there?
Well, yes, but it will run out at some point.
I'm
I'll
gonna
probably
get.
stick closer to there then.
Do you want to put a sword on them, and I'll put a javelin on them for when they stop, and then we'll be like, you can either surrender or die.
Okay.
Cool. So while P looks around for some kind of trigger, we're gonna get ready to intimidate these guards.
I will remind you, just in
Yep.
case my description was a little zealous and or fast,
Mm-hmm.
the guard used a device to create a small opening in the barrier,
Oh yeah.
which allowed Vitrick and or Vitkirk, excuse me, and the woman leave the area.
I'm not gonna lie, I for some reason forgot that there was a barrier, and so I was wondering, why are the guards inside the cell with the prisoner? And then you're like, there's a barrier. I'm like, oh shit, okay, that makes more sense.
All right. So one of the 2 guards has it, or
Yes, one of the 2 guards has it somewhere.
All right.
Gotta
Can I?
wait for the gas to clear anyway.
Yeah.
Let me see something.
If only I had that knife that can cut through anything. I could cut through the gas.
Cut through the gas. What a great idea.
Mind you, I can do that with a regular knife.
Yes. But can you cut it and separate it so it never goes back together again? A la Scooby-Doo.
That would be a trick.
Yes, that would be a trick. Let's see, distress. Oh yeah, okay. Yes, there is kind of a blue cloud floating around them in immediate radius. So they're just kind of like heaving and vomiting and...
Feel free to pass out whenever, guys.
So we can't see into the mist, or it's
just kind of like a blue mist that's kind of hanging in the air, and they're kind of just like rolling around on the ground. One of them's on his hands and knees, like heaving, and you can hear him, heave. And the other one is like on his back, clutching his stomach. And you see some other people come to the doors of their cells and look out curiously as to see what is going on. And you kind of stand around waiting to put these men to their deaths or surrender.
I really would prefer not to kill them.
Kill them all.
Well, since I know that the gas is there, can I like hold my breath and run in and like yank the one who's got the little key out?
It is not visible, but you could yank one of them out. Yeah.
All right.
Where's the door that the people left out of?
It is right where they were
playing their game.
Yes, playing their game with boards and pieces, which is now splattered all over the ground.
Okay. Could I wait somewhere near there just to keep watch to see if anyone's coming?
Yes, you can see past the orange barrier if you're on the other side quite easily. It's just it kind of extends to an end, and then it seems there is some kind of spiral staircase going up, kind of stone staircase heading upwards.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you pull this guy out. He still coughing and retching, kind of, as he gets new air in his lungs.
Do Aeon priests and knights and whatnot take vows of celibacy? I wouldn't think so, but...
How much do you know about the Aeon priests?
A friend of mine is a member of them.
Oh, are you speaking of the knights, the Angulan knights?
Yes, sorry, the yeah, them ones.
They do not take any vows of any kind, except for justice.
Standard knightly ones.
It's pretty much just justice.
Yeah, just us. All right.
Yeah, just us.
When P pulls the guy out, I'm gonna sort of prop him up against a wall and hold him for a minute with P. Presumably we're both holding him, and then when he looks like he can comprehend, I will speak. So I'll wait for you to tell me when that is.
P is kind of patting him down in the meantime, try to find that key if he's the one that's got it. Whatever the...
Can you understand me, friend? I say.
1 or 2, Ryan.
2.
Okay, yeah, he has the key.
All right.
He kind of looks at you, kind of like bleary-eyed, as he like sees P take this kind of oblong-y black wand with a like strange electronic tip,
Hmm.
and he kind of
Yep.
reaches his arms out, but realizes you're holding them down, or he's in some way restrained, and he kind of looks at you.
I hand him a container of water that I would have, and say, "You seem to have had a bit of an accident there, friend." Does he drink
He's
the
kind of
water?
no, he squints at you.
Yeah, all right. Listen, we have no interest in harming you beyond what has already been done. We've just come to free our friend's mate, and then you will never see or hear from us again. But if you are determined to make this difficult for us, does not bode well.
He kind of coughs and looks at you and
I drink some
says,
of the water and then hand it towards him because he's just
"It'll
been throwing
be.
up.
It won't matter what I do. I'll be dead either way."
Hmm. I mean, we're probably just gonna go straight to our ship and leave the city. So, I mean, if you've got no attachments,
Make me some kind of positive social interaction
I love making positive social interaction. Where
at a
is my...
difficulty 4.
That's not too bad. I'm gonna spend some intellect. At 4, you said?
Yes, difficulty 4.
Wrong one. Hang on. I just realized I clicked the thing rather than my skill. There we go.
Eating kite.
There we go.
All right.
Kind of looks at you and then looks at the ground and looks at his little insignia on his chest, and then he kind of grabs it and rips it off and throws it to the ground. And he says, "Well, I'm dead either way." He kind of gets to his feet.
At the very least, we will get you to the next city. But if you want to stay on, well, we can discuss that when we get out of here. So how do we work this gizmo?
He
And I point to
looks
the
at you,
giant centipede.
and then he looks at the thing, and he says, "No, just..." And he points to the only button on it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. P presses the button.
It kind of makes a humming noise, and there's kind of a small light that comes out of the end of it. But it doesn't do anything really. He says you gotta kind of wipe the barrier away.
I think you'd
Oh.
trace a door,
Right.
maybe.
All right. So I will trace something big enough for the centipede thing.
She's
Or
not.
should
She's not
should
really
we talk to
that
her
big.
first?
She's like human-sized centipede, so she can easily
Okay.
fit through the cell door itself, which is the only way out.
I should probably ask this just to be sure. She does look like she could be of the same species as Murin, right? She doesn't look like a completely different kind of giant centipede monster.
Well, you never
Hey.
asked Murin what his mate looked like.
Good point. I just
She looks
assumed they were...
nothing like Murin at
Mhm.
all. I mean, she has insectoid-looking body, but Murin has a bug face, and this person has a face.
Hmm. Yeah. Do you speak my tongue, I say as the doorway is opened.
Um, well, the doorway is still currently filled with blue gas, so you
Oh
can
yeah,
create
good
a
point.
small hole to allow her to talk in the
Yeah.
side or what have you.
Yeah, I'll do that.
She kind of looks at you curiously and comes up and says, "Oh, now I can hear you. What were you saying before?"
We think we could be drastically wrong, but we think that you might be. We were hoping that you might be
She kind of moves her
a friend
hands
of
at you.
a close friend of ours sent us to rescue his partner. We thought that you might be them from some of the chatter we heard, but we could be mistaken.
She kind of shakes her head, and you hear her hair kind of jangles and jingles at you, and she says, "Yes, ah." And there's this weird, like, partially screeching noise and kind of like lilting screech. She's like, "Yes, he's here."
Sure. Just to clarify, could you describe your home to us, where you two are from?
She she kind of laughs a little and says, "Which home?"
The one with the museum. Yeah, that'll work.
Squints at you and, oh, it's on an island
Mm-hmm.
in the sea of dreams and fog.
Yep, that sounds good enough to me. I'm convinced.
Well, so
With,
the fog dissipates,
do
and
you
the
want
other
to grab the
man
other one, Kieran?
Sure.
kind of has a angry look on his face as you kind of pick him up, in that style where you kind of like lock his arms behind with your arms or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He looks and he's kind of like gritting his teeth and he looks over at the other man and he says, "You're a traitor. I knew it.
Oh my
Mutant-loving
god.
freak."
Oh my fucking god.
Is your friend a true believer? I say to the guy who tore off his badge.
He kind of shrugs. He's like, "Oh, we just play the game. I don't really talk to him."
Fair enough. Look, buddy, we're gonna offer you the same choice we offered your friend, your
"Shut
acquaintance
up,
here.
mutant lover."
Okay. First of all, what's the race of my mother again? A Vagelan?
Var- Varjellen.
Yeah. First of all, my mother's a Vagelan, so I would appreciate it if you kept your racist comments to yourself.
He just kind of grits his teeth at you.
Second, you don't have to die here today.
Make a might roll difficulty 3, Kieran.
Okay.
I assume he's
One
trying to
second.
wrestle free.
Yes. He doesn't want no mutant
Um,
lovers.
Touching him on his Puritan parts.
Nope, he just.
I
Alright.
successed.
You successed?
Yes, I did. I successed.
You
Successfully.
feel him kind of struggling in your grasp. And he. He kind of just gives up, kind of slumps, and he's like, "Kill me."
Hmm. I look to P and Kieran.
I stab him.
Oh shit! As you step up, I'm like, no, wait!
No, I slit his throat. There,
Well,
that's
whatever.
more
It's,
dramatic.
that's fine. I'm just, as a player, I don't care. As a character, I'm like, shit, what are you? Holy! And then I throw up on the ground.
If they
He
were
kind
going to
of-
do it anyway, it was probably
I
a
know,
mercy.
right?
He kind of falls to his knees. You see the blood kind of weirdly pool on the ground
That's weird.
as it kind of seems to be sucking out of his neck.
Hope I didn't trigger anything.
Um,
Look.
and as you kind of look over, kind of see where it's going, you see this man who kind of has his hand out of his cell and like reaching for the blood as it's kind of trailing along the ground towards him. He's like very thin. He has gray hair. He's kind of emaciated looking.
I say that we leave the controller and start running. Pretty sure that guy's got his own prison break plans on.
Okay, sure.
So you undo the door and the barrier for which the female centipede woman lady, I mean, the only female thing about her is her facial features seem to be feminine, but other than that, she doesn't have weird insectile breasts or something weird.
Oh god, it's not Gamma World.
Thank goodness.
She kind of looks at all of you and says, "So, where are we going?"
Back through this tunnel quite quickly, I'd imagine, because that guy looks like he's got a determined look on his face.
He kind of looks over at you and he goes, "Do you know of the Seneschal?"
Seneschal? I mean, I know that word from World of Darkness.
Kind of, I guess not. And he kind of has his hand out, trying to get the blood.
Is he like telekinesising the blood toward him, or is it just pooling and he's reaching for it?
I think he's vampiring the blood towards him.
All right.
You actually, how long do you watch what he does? Do you
I don't
immediately
watch
very
I don't
long.
watch at all. Not
Yeah.
at all. I want to go now. Like
He might say something along the lines of, "I'd love to stay and hear about it, but we have a flight through the sewers to get to."
that
So
dude is too high level for me to want to
he
deal
nods.
with.
He nods at you. Yes, we must all escape. And he is still
Okay.
reaching out.
I'm leaving
Good
him.
luck with your
As you
escape.
leave.
I can't believe you killed that god.
we'll leave the door open
Well-
for you.
Well, what did
Like
you
I-
want me to do? Not
I
kill
was
him?
I was gonna knock him out. I was bluffing. I didn't intend to kill any of them.
Well, too late.
As you watch and hear the dinging and dangling of Mirren's mate's hair, you watch strangely as her body kind of like contorts and shrinks into kind of a like maybe 4 foot tall, like genderless human, like extremely black skin, like obsidian skin. Brushes her skin as she's following you, and says, "This form should be better for following you than my normal form. Hands are better than legs." The man who's kind of coming with you, the guard, kind of looks at her for a second. Like he's like, "What the fuck am I doing?" Then he kind of shrugs. He's like, "Whatever."
So yeah, post haste out back through the sewers.
Okay. I would like you all to make me a will defense intellect defense at 3.
Great. I
Okay.
hope I succeed because I don't have a lot of
Is
intellect.
this to do with
No, I failed.
mind control at all?
Not mind control.
Okay. Any sort of mental manipulation? Because I have two things. Basically,
Roll
my
again.
mind. I am the opposite of Batman and Punisher. I am easily tricked by mental illusions.
No, it's not any kind of illusion or any kind of
Mind control or anything like that?
mind control or anything like that.
Alright, cool.
Well, we got 2 failures on the board so far, everybody. Let's see what the third gets us.
An
Let's go for
intellect.
the hat trick.
At 3, did you say?
Yes, at 3.
Let's see how I go. I'm not going to spend anything, because if I do, I'll die anyway, because my intellect will be at 0. Oh, I got a 20! Woo!
How's your intellect at 0?
My intellect is at 3 because I've been spending to give myself effort, and if I spend any more, it'll be at 0.
Oh.
Would Halim be horrified by people disappearing in front of his eyes?
Let's find out. I have no dice on my table. Roll me a thing. Roll me something. Some kind of thing that rolls. Hang on, I have dice stream. Or I
think
could
you
just
can-
use the fucking die roller that's right there next to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's die roller and roll 20.
I clicked it a few too many times. We're gonna go with the first one. No. I would not be terrified of that. I've seen some weird shit.
Okay, you watch as P and Kieran kind of just disappear in front of you, and you see the guard kind of like half disappear, and then he like shocks back into existence. He doesn't seem to notice this as you're kind of like half jogging, and you see Mirren's mate kind of like shudder. You visibly see like a shudder go across her little genderless humanoid form.
Did you see that? I say to everyone in the room.
They come to a stop and they kind of where did they go?
I don't know. By the way, introductions. Halim. I point to the guard.
Ja'an.
Ja'on. Ja'ons.
Oh my god.
And then I point to Mirren's mate and say, do you have a thing, a tag, a name we can call you by? We named your mate Mirren for
She kind of
reference.
sticks her hands up to her chin and kind of laughs liltingly and says, you can call me Ito.
Ito. So, the two that disappeared, Kieran and P, they disappeared.
Are you continuing to move, Halim, or are you stopped?
We're stopped for a moment. I'm gonna give it one more line of dialogue before we just have to go.
Okay. So, you two suddenly feel yourselves somewhere else. You appear on a platform, kind of running, and stop yourself. You can hear music, and you see like a golden sea in front of you, and there's kind of this strange crystalline structure hanging in the sky, kind of from some type of ceiling or something. And there's like music coming from up and behind you.
Oh, hey, I accomplished my short-term goal.
Congratulations.
Watch 2 of your friends disappear in front of you?
Oh, tear down that wall, Mr. Gorbachev.
I'll get rid of Kieran and P.
I'm just
For
gonna
good.
give myself an experience point for that, and then write in find Kieran and P.
Sure, I'll let you do that.
Kieran, what the hell happened?
I don't know. Let's get out of here.
Would you two be experienced in hearing like violin music, like fiddle or violin? What
A
would you
fiddle,
rather?
yes.
I mean,
I
Probably
would know what a
not
fiddle
P.
is.
they are the same instrument.
Well,
Well-
violin. Well, when you say
no.
violin, I
They
think
are-
more
they-
classic.
They
Like
are played
classical.
differently, and they are tuned differently, but they are effectively the same instrument, just for
Yes.
clarification. I wasn't trying to be like, well, Brandon doesn't know what he's fucking talking about. I was just clarifying.
It sounds like some kind of stringed instrument being strung with a bow that is coming from up and behind you.
I will turn around and look up. What do I see?
There are a number of like platforms evenly spaced, like going into a kind of curling spiral, and there is a man in a long like brown coat who has his back towards you, and he seems to be playing something.
Mm-mm.
Is he armed?
Well, he has a coat on, so if he has some kind of weapon underneath his coat, you don't know.
Hmm.
And he could be some kind of wizard or magical man.
And this platform you said is just hovering in the middle of a sea of gold? Like
Like
Is it-
gold water.
okay.
It's kind of lapping against something, so it's presumably whatever you're on is going. There's a pillar going down into the ocean or sea.
Um,
Oh, excuse me. I'm very careful.
I look over to Kieran and I say, "Do you think we should interrupt him or just
Well,
let
I
him
mean, I
play?"
don't see any other options.
His
So I guess
playing
we-
seems to get more furious, like
Is his song reaching the climax? Like, should we?
you think so.
Okay.
Kind of rises to some kind of crescendo and then like abruptly stops. And you hear like thunderous applause, like just from everywhere. Like it's almost deafening.
What the hell?
And he like bows. And then he turns and kind of is bowing in all directions, and then he sees you. You see like a man with like brown hair that kind of goes back just behind his head, like up. Kind of looks like an owl would be the best way to describe him. He has a very large hawkish nose and extremely large eyes. And he smiles at you and he goes, "Oh, people."
Yeah. Where are we, sir?
And he starts making his way down the floating steps, and they kind of disappear from behind him. He goes, "Ah, you are in my concert hall. How did you come to be here?"
We disappeared, and
We're
we're
kind
here.
of uncertain about that ourselves. Do people normally arrive this way?
Kind of taps his head a little bit with his bow. Um, Maybe once. Yes, once a long time ago, there was a man who came. He kind of reaches the same platform that you were on, you should disappear. Probably. He disappeared, so
Who's he?
it's a man. He kind of looked like you, kind of. Points to you, Kieran. You know, he was a man, a tallish man. And he had kind of very pale skin.
Hmm.
He didn't happen to come from a sewer, did he?
Sewer. Yes, I think he mentioned something about a sewer. He mentioned something about a prison, how he had escaped. Yes, I wrote a song about it. Would you like to hear it?
Sure, if we have nothing else to do. Like, I can't really see, like, us leaving anytime soon.
No, go and hang out on the edge of the platform. I'll just wait here. He kind of smiles at you and he goes, "Oh, good. I don't actually usually have physical audiences." And he kind of taps his boot with the bow, and you hear like accompaniment, like playing somewhere. And he starts playing, and you start seeing.
He starts playing Britney Spears' Toxic.
Yeah.
On the
Because it's an
violin.
episode of
A
Doctor Who,
thrilling
apparently.
rendition.
And as he's playing, he kind of starts singing, and you don't understand what he's saying, but you kind of get the feeling or the meaning behind what he's saying, and it's about typical kind of sad music about a tortured soul who had lost their way and how they had escaped and came to find themselves here, and how they had struggled for so long and blah blah blah. And you kind of get to the middle of the song as you start feeling yourself like being pulled away, and you kind of get this vision as you're kind of leaving of a man sitting in a cell, sitting on the floor with his hands in his head, his kind of skin a palely white purple as you snap back crumpled heaps onto the floor in front of Halim and the rest.
Just as I'm like pulling out a knife to carve into the rock.
And as you kind of reappear, P, you are good at exploring dark places. You realize that this should be the place where that other place was.
But instead, we're just wandering through a tunnel some more.
Yeah, there's two like sides that go to the left and the right, and you can see like kind of not light, but kind of light, like a very dull light at the end through a doorway. But this is where the strange metal plate hanging place with the video that you saw should be.
But it's not.
This is where we found that library, or it should be. Where are we?
Does it really matter? We've already been standing here for a few seconds. We should probably get running. Like, pick a direction.
You know, P, for a fact that you just went straight from a door that had a like a submarine door and then straight through another one, and then straight again. Like you never went left or right. I mean, you did, but those didn't lead anywhere, and so you just went straight. So you're assuming you should go straight if you want to go
Uh,
back the way you came.
yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Um,
We put P up front and follow P.
Ito kind of comes up to you, P, as you're kind of walking along. She kind of curiously peers up at you. Where did you go? Or did you
the
go
bathroom.
anywhere?
we were in some sort of
Somewhere.
concert hall.
Oh, interesting. She kind of shakes her head for a moment, and she goes, "Oh, haha, that would make sense. Seems to be correct." And she kind of touches like her shoulders, and she kind of like squats at you, like kind of some kind of, I don't know, thank, or you're not really sure, some kind of something she like thinks is some kind of nicety or some type of manners towards you, and kind of returns to her place in the line.
Okay.
All right.
So you end up, we'll just cut to the chase. You are outside, um, or approaching the outside of the port of Ladon.
After crawling through the filth.
And I hope you're not crawling.
Well, you know what I mean. Trudging, then.
We just
Trudging.
decided to crawl.
Okay, have fun with that. So, do you talk to her? Do you make conversation with John?
I'd make conversation with John. John.
Yeah.
J-on.
He tells you,
I ask him, like, what's he, like, I'm trying to get a sense of, like, what he's leaving behind.
he kind of shrugs at you. A job, I guess.
Well, that's the good thing about the world. There's always jobs. Except in the city of the jobless. Wretched place.
Kind of stares at you and shakes his head. So, you came to rescue this bug woman?
We think so. We hope so. I really don't want to have to go back in there.
Well, I wouldn't come with you if you had to.
No, I wouldn't make you. I'd probably ask you for some layouts or something, but I wouldn't make you go. It's not your quest, so to speak. It's barely mine.
So, as you're kind of making your way through the stuff, warning them not to touch the walls because there's flesh melting slime on the walls. You reach the shore of the port of Ladon. The sun is kind of setting down over the horizon. The wind has kind of picked up. It's raining softly.
Can we get back to the ship from here without going through town?
Oh yeah, you can actually see the ship like down a ways.
Does it look like it's swarming with knights?
Oh no.
Oh, good.
There's a light on board the ship.
That's our ship right there. It's called the ship.
John kind of nods at you. Interesting name choice.
Yeah, my mother is terrible at naming things. I mean, she called me Halim Deep Swimmer. Because I can swim real deep. Like, anyway.
So, it's kind of a I don't know what you call it, a kind of kind of, well, that was a thing as you kind of climb up onto the dock.
Yep. I'm just gonna try and act cool, like nothing is wrong. This is just my bug friend.
She doesn't really look like a bug. She looks like a little genderless girl
This is my shape-shifting bug friend.
with crystal hair.
This is my crested-haired little girl bug friend that shapeshifts.
She obviously will need help getting up.
Yep, I give her a hand
Oh,
as
yeah,
long
we'll
as she
help her.
doesn't eat me.
And she kind of, this is a ship then?
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Nods. Interesting.
Why is it interesting?
Why is it not interesting? And she kind of like ignores you and walks aboard the ship.
Cool. I'm real worried. But, whatever. I'm pretty sure I jumped to a pretty major conclusion. But who
Okay.
doesn't want to fight a bug monster or a shape-shifting bug monster in the confines of a ship?
So some people come aboard, or you come aboard, and people come
Greet you.
above onto the ship deck.
Yep. Is
And
Corden there?
yes,
Oh,
Pardon?
good.
I say hello to Corden and say, and I say to the crew, this gentleman, John, helped us, and I will be providing him with free passage to the port of his choosing that is along our route. We're not going to go out of our way, is what I'm saying.
no one really gives you much assent or anything. They're just like, okay, whatever.
Sounds good.
Great. Murin comes on to the deck and he kind of sees Ito and he kind of comes over to her and they kind of stare at each other for a while.
Murin, this
And he
is...
has like he has this weird human head on top of his head.
Murin, this is Ito. We really
He
hope
like
that we
puts a
rescued the right
hand up
person.
into your face.
Okay.
And they kind of continue to stare at each other.
Alright. Cool. I'm just gonna wait. Actually, I'm not gonna wait. I'm gonna be like, maybe we should get underway. We didn't exactly leave stealthily.
Oh,
Don't we still have to get... Where's the, whatchamacallit thing?
The wheelhouse?
Yes?
Where you pilot the ship from?
No, the thing we need to see for the Purple Man. That's name isn't really the Purple Man.
I'm confused.
Like that one shrine or something we're going to?
Oh,
Nice.
yes, indeed. That one shrine. I remember. Vaguely. Real vaguely. It was like 2 weeks ago.
Well, I'll tell you. I'll fill you in. So you hear Ito kind of sigh and says, "Ah, I understand now." And she kind of looks at you and she says, "Thank you for rescuing me."
I look to Murin.
The human head kind of like smiles as much as it can.
Alright, that means that I haven't completely fucked this up.
She kind of
Who are
looks
they
at
to?
you curiously.
Cool.
She shakes her head. Should we leave or are we sticking around here?
Do you mean you specifically or us as a collective whole?
She puts one of her human hands up to her face, her two human hands, and kind of taps her chin for a moment. Both.
Well, we're probably gonna get underway, right? Right? I look for my mum.
Your mom is nowhere to be seen, but she could just be in her quarters.
We're probably gonna get
No,
underway
she's
soon.
dead.
We're probably gonna get underway soon. I have no idea how you two are gonna return to your home, but I am more than willing to help you find out. If you can just sorta, I don't know. Anyway, I've got to go get the ship ready. And then I just rush off. I don't even finish. I can't even think of how to finish that thought. I just rush off to my mum's quarters. I am strapped for intellect points. I am mentally and emotionally exhausted.
Ito comes up to you, P, kind of looks at you. He is weird.
Yes, he seems a little high-strung, but you and your mate should probably wait below decks so that we're not spotted and arrested. I give her kind of an awkward smile.
Oh, yes. Um, She kind of takes one of Mirren's many hands and says, "Come on," and kind of like drags him behind her, and he kind of like follows her. And the ship sets underway. You go in to see your mother. She's kind of sitting like at her little desk, like looking at some papers. Looks over her shoulder at you. Ah, I did not know if you would return or not.
Yeah, it was a little touch and go there for a while. Wound up in a strange ballroom.
She squints her fish eyes at you and says, "If you would not have returned by tomorrow morning, I was going to leave."
Classic fish mum.
What?
I walk over and hug her.
She kind of pats you with both hands on the back.
As if to say, I accept your sentiment, get off me.
Yep.
I know you care. In your own strange way.
Yes.
Well, where are we heading to now? The Numenera hunters have a place that they want to go to, but I'm not sure if I'm going to go with them. I might go chat to them, but I just thought I'd ask where we were headed to next. Back down the coast, or?
She says, "Well, we will probably go back down. Yes, it would be silly to do anything else. We got some cargo to deliver in Omar."
Mm-hmm. Cool. Cool. Well, I guess I'll go. And I start to walk to the door, and just before I leave the door, I said, "Also, I brought home another stray." And then I just walk out.
She says, "Good.
Oh, it's good?
Well, remember the we had a man that died, so we were down a crew member anyway. Can he be a replacement crew member?"
I will discuss it with him if he's ever... I don't know if he's interested in taking up a life of the sail.
She kind of nods. Well,
I will certainly get on that, and then I leave. And I'm going to go look for Kieran and P.
they are standing. Well, I don't know what Kieran's doing, but I assume P is standing above deck.
P probably actually went below decks with Ito and Murin.
What about Kieran? What's Kieran doing? Looking cool.
Yeah, that's me all the time, looking cool.
Striking a pose.
Yep. Vogue.
The ship has kind of started to sail out of the port of Ladon.
Cool.
Um,
Not seeing P, I just walk over to Kieran.
Okay.
I just walk up and sort of pat you on the back like a comrade
I
would.
look at you like, what the fuck are you doing?
You know, we did alright today. Despite all the mishap and the difficulty early on, you know, the strange religious services in the street with the stoning and the killing. And, you know, you killed that guy, but I know that you meant well. I feel like we should do this more. You know, maybe we should. What I'm saying is, I'd like to be on your crew.
I don't really have a crew.
Well, you've got P. You had that strange sound gal, apparently.
Yeah, that just sort of happened. It wasn't like an official thing.
Really? Numenera hunters don't have like. You guys don't have like contracts and stuff to determine how the loot is divided up? You just go into random places with randos that you barely know and just come out with trinkets.
Pretty much.
That is, talk about freedom, you know, free from
You're a sailor.
contracts. So, doesn't mean that I can't appreciate other forms of freedom.
Okay.
So what's your plan? Where are you guys going to next? We're heading down to, did you say Omar?
yes, Omar.
We're heading down to Omar, you know, from The Wire.
Well, you were there with that one guy. So I'm at least heading to, what was the shrine called again? I forgot.
Is the shrine is the obelisk of the water god.
That's right,
Okay.
didn't it have some other strange water properties to it? I
Well,
think I got it confused. No, never mind. I'm projecting a different part of the Ninth World onto it. Ignore me.
project all the ninth world onto it.
Well, you know, if you guys need help or anything, I could free up some time, you know. I've worked on this ship a long time, and I sort of stroke the ship at the nearest part of it, you know. But there comes a time when you've got to diversify your skills. You know, you've got to strike out on your own. And, I don't know. I feel like I could maybe I don't know, do that with you guys.
Who says I want you around?
Well, great chat, Kieran. I
I'm gonna
just
write
got.
myself into this. P, you see P coming up from below deck. She's been sort of standing there listening to this happen. She's got her arms crossed, and she says, "Kieran, we could use an extra pair of hands."
Do we really, though?
What are you doing?
I don't like you.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm creating tension in the game.
Yep. Definitely. I turn back to Kieran. I'm like, I thought we were starting to get past your animosity, man. You know?
Look, do whatever you want. All I know is that I'm going to this water temple.
Jesus fucking Christ. Or the ninth world equivalent of that curse.
Jesus Christo.
Yep. Peppadon Marucci.
You kind of stand there in a little awkward silence. You hear a small voice say, "You are all very complicated."
Is it female Murin who I forgot the name of?
Ito?
Ito.
Ito.
Yes, she's kind of behind P, kind of standing to the side. She kind of has her hands behind her back.
Hello again.
I turn to Ito. I don't think it's that complicated. One more ally means maybe the difference between life and death in the dark places of the world.
Ooh, call back to your focus.
She kind of nods. Yes, that would make sense. And it would make sense. She kind of
So,
looks far away.
Ito, how are we going to return you to the island of...
The Sea of Dreams and Fog.
If that is even... Well, we got the impression that Murin had young there that needed rearing.
Oh yes, she kind of looks, the 200 children. Yes, they must be tended for.
So, how do we get you guys back there, or do you have your own way to return?
Oh, we'll return when it is time for us to return.
Brilliant. Well, you're welcome to stay aboard. Help where you can, obviously. Cool. Brilliant. I'm glad that you two are back together.
Looks at you three curiously. Never mind. She kind of starts to make her way off, back down into the hold of the ship.
I turned to P. I'm like, and she thinks we're weird.
Everyone's got a different version of normal.
So, this water temple. Do we have a rough idea of where it is? Like, you can just say yes or no.
Yes, because he showed you a topographical map.
Cool. Are we heading in the complete wrong direction?
Well, when you go to Omar, it is about some amount of miles that I don't know and will not bother looking up. But it is a long way away to the northeast from Omar.
So it's not impossible to get there from Omar, though.
No, definitely not.
Cool.
It'll be a fucking long journey, though.
Yeah. So, you and Kieran are gonna head to this water temple from Omar?
Yes.
It's a long journey. Inland.
And we would love to have you, Halim, P says, like, extra pointedly, loudly, to attract Kieran's attention.
Depends on your definition of love.
You know what, man? I turn around. I get that you and I have differences of opinion, but like, if you don't want me to tag along, say so now, and you can just fucking swim ashore. You didn't pay us to get you to Omar. You paid us to get you to Ladon. I didn't have to let you back on the fucking ship.
He didn't have to come into the sewers with us either.
No, well, actually, I did.
And as I recall, this isn't your ship.
You know
Besides,
what?
I'd be happy to pay my way.
You know what? Fuck it. Find your own way to your goddamn temple. And I storm off. I head towards the dock. I'm gonna let Jacob and Ryan sort this out.
You know,
What if Kieran doesn't hate Halim, and it's just that he's afraid of losing someone again?
Well,
Out there.
I was thinking that one too. I was just about to say, Kieran, we've seen what happens out there when you find yourself alone.
you mean when you
Good.
are you referring? I just. Like,
Keep
are you
acting
like?
this. Yeah, I'm just letting that linger, and I say keep acting this way, and you just might find yourself there too. And I turn around and walk off.
I'm gonna smoke a cigarette.
Where do you go to, P?
I'll probably go back down and talk to Mirren and Ito for a while.
Okay. You go into the doctor's office. He's kind of doing something with beakers and you know things that look like beakers.
Glassware.
Yes.
Hmm.
Kind of looks over his shoulder, and he's like, "Ah, you have returned." He kind of grins at you.
Yeah, I've returned. Have you got something to help me focus? My head is just like all over the place. Pick up anything new when we were in town? I know we were only there for a day, but maybe somebody hooked you up with something?
Kind of looks at you oddly for a moment and then shakes his head. No, I don't have anything.
I think when we get to Omar, I'm gonna need to seriously look for some new product, cause like, I am just fucking burnt the fuck out. And you know that my stash is empty, so I've got nothing to keep my muscles going. But it's my brain, man. I just feel, it's just, I don't know. These new guys, I just feel real drained. I'm trying to help everybody. I'm just like getting nothing back from it. Just, it's killing me.
He kind of turns his head away and he says, "Well, maybe you should stop trying to help them."
Yeah, I guess. I guess I could do that, but then I'm writing my character out of the adventure.
He nods his head and kind of says, "Yes, that would be a problematic consequence of your actions in the story."
Hey, why don't you go talk to that guy? He looks like he might advance the plot.
Yes. He's got a hood on. He's sitting in the corner.
Um,
Getting meta here in the ninth world.
why not? It's the ninth world after all.
He kind of looks at you a little curiously, turns back and kind of leans against his table, puts his hands on the edge, and he goes, "Your problem, Halim. And it's always been your problem. Since your mother brought you aboard so many fucking years ago, is that you think by helping other people, you're going to somehow help yourself."
Yeah.
And he kind of reaches into his little vest that he wears, and inside of it, and kind
He's
of
gonna.
tosses up a kind of reddish vial, and he says, "I wasn't going to give you this, but because you are such a huge bitch."
I love the Doctor. He's so fucking weird.
I'm going to give this to you. And he kind of comes over and like grabs your hand with his and kind of puts it in your hand, like he's holding your hand, and he's like looks at you. And you probably haven't looked him in the eyes in a long time
Because I
because
don't like what I see when I look there.
you kind of see beyond his outer self and like see, you know, like past his, you know, visage of self-importance and weirdness,
Hmm.
and you see like perhaps a fatherly, weirdly caring in his eyes. Like this weird dichotomy you've always had from him. He's always been like weirdly uh, sexual with you, as well as like weirdly like fatherly towards you.
He is totally grooming me.
And he kind of um, takes his other hand and puts it on your shoulder and says, "You need to figure out what you want to do, and not do it because you think it's of some kind of obligation or something. You need to do it because you want to do it.
Hmm.
The
I
only
look
reason you've
down.
been on this ship, the only reason you've been on this ship," and he's staring at you directly in your eyes, "is because you feel obligated to your mother." And he kind of leaves the vial in your hand and kind of turns away and says, "Leave.
I
Before I do something I regret."
I walk out and I stare at the vial for a very long time, and then I sort of sigh. And I'm like, wait, hang on. Do I fucking inject this or drink it? And I'm just sort of looking around the deck.
I assume you see Kieran smoking a cigarette and no sign of pee.
Hmm. I take the cap off this vial.
Yep, you do that.
And drink it?
Okay. P, you are with Ito and Miran, um, and Ito is uh, kind of chittering to Miran, and Miran's kind of chittering back to her, and they see you walking up, and they kind of both smile. The head is kind of resting on the ground. Miran smiles with his weird bug face and looks to presumably his mate. Um, Says something to her, and she looks at you and says, "Miran wishes to uh, thank you more than he can ever repay you for."
Oh, I wouldn't mention it. It was nothing. We couldn't leave your children without one of their parents. Now, could we?
She kind of shrugs. "I assume they would be fine, I mean, for the most part. At least for a few years."
Well, it works a little differently for us.
She nods. "Oh, I am fully aware of how human uh, reproduction occurs.
Hmm.
That is still what you refer to yourselves as, humans?"
Last I checked.
She nods. "I haven't had a chance to ask anyone Vitkirk, I believe, was not the talking type.
What were they doing to you down there? What did they want you for?
She kind of pauses for a moment and says, well, you know Mirren's ability to search through a person's memories, correct?
Yes.
I have an ability too. And she makes this strange noise. Um, of our species have the ability to see a future.
Oh. That must be troubling.
Oh no, I mean, it's very confusing, so it doesn't mean much. He believed I had information about something. He said a person named the Mouth of Heaven um, informed him that there would be a change in Ladon, um, and that this would bring ruin to the city itself. And he said, since I was able to tell the future, um, and she kind of chuckles to herself, although I am not able to tell the future, I'm able to see a future. Um, he
He thought
wasn't
that you
very.
could. He thought that you could
Yes,
help him avoid this.
yes. Though it seems, from what I heard, he created the destruction himself. But would you like to know the future that I see? I showed him. He didn't understand what I was showing him.
I may not understand either, but sure.
You see her stand up, and she kind of um, stretches out, and you see her body like contort and conform to that like centipedal form, and she kind of rises above you, and she kind of reaches out with her uh, legs and kind of wraps her arms around you and like pulls you into her,
Okay.
and you're kind of being hugged by a giant centipede woman. But you suddenly are somewhere else, which is a more and more familiar feeling to you. Um,
A little too familiar, if you ask me, but
you see um, like a a man standing in like a gray room. From the back, he's a very familiar man to you. He's wearing some type of black helmet on his head. He's not looking at you. He's kind of staring at the corner, and you hear this voice kind of whisper on top of like somewhere. It's not really audible. It's kind of you can like feel it kind of in your bones and in your blood and in your flesh, and you hear this whispered voice say, "The imprisoned one, he was lost. Then they were found." And the man turns towards you, and it's not the Grieve Binma face that you're expecting. You just see a black void, and you kind of get shocked out of the the vision, and she lets you go. Do do you understand my future?
It some of it seems familiar, but I may need some help understanding.
She nods. I don't know how much help I can give you. I mean, I
So, out of character, the Grieve Binma, was that Purple Man Grieve Binma or the real Grieve Binma that I saw?
You saw a black helmeted figure. Grieve Benma wears a black helmet on his head, wears dark clothing. This looked like Grieve Benma,
Okay.
but he didn't have a purple face. There was just kind of like blackness underneath the helm.
Alright, so the Grieve Binma that we're chasing, and not the
Not
actual...
the not the real Grieve Benma.
Okay.
Yes.
Uh,
Not golden giant robot head
yeah.
Grieve
I,
Benma.
I forgot I forgot what he looked like, so that was why I was asking.
Yes.
I say to Ito, Kieran and I have been chasing a man who looks like the one that you showed me.
Hmm.
He's going to bring ruin to Ladon.
She shakes her head. No, no. Uh, Vidkirk had a message from, I believe there's an oracle in your world or something. You know that are people who claim to tell the future, or have heard of people who do tell the future. You've never heard of the mouth of heaven, but you assume it's some kind of thing that told Vidkirk that there would be a change in Ladon, and
Okay.
that this change would mean ruin for the city.
Okay. So there's going to be a change. This Grieve Binma has something to do with it.
She shakes her head. No, I believe my vision is not connected to that vision.
Oh,
She says, this is my future. I can't tell the future. I only see one future. And this is the future I was given.
oh.
I believe she kind of looks at Mirren and then back down at you, and she says, I believe that Fitkirk created the future that he was trying to prevent.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was connecting those things in my head. So does that mean you're supposed to go with us? If this is your future, the person we're pursuing is in it.
She kind of laughs like a small bit. How do I explain this? Um, you have a future, assuming you survive. I mean, you have a future of some kind, correct?
I like to hope so.
And she nods. She says, I have two futures. I have the future I was given and am able to see and to tell to others. And I have the life I live that will lead to my future, which is not the same thing as my future. She kind of looks in the air for a moment. and says,
Is it weird that I totally understand what she's talking about?
no.
I mean,
I sort
I'm
of do,
glad.
but I sort of at the same time.
Yeah, I'm glad one of us does because I have no idea. P is completely lost, and so am I.
She looks at you again and kind of takes or motions to your hands, like so that she can take them with her bug hands.
Okay.
And she says to you, kind of looking down at you, she goes, I can see a future that was given to me by my mother, who saw a different future. That future is not a future I will live. It is just something I see.
Okay.
My own future, assuming I get what I want, is to go back to the sea of dreams and fog and live out my life with Mirren, or as you call him, Mirren. Most of us don't ever get to use the future we were given. Sometimes there have been cases where the future we have been given has been useful to someone.
Oh,
And
so if I'm following you correctly, if you give me the future that you were given, then I will find this man I'm seeking.
she kind of smiles at you. I think I don't want to use the term destined, but because that is a difficult and awful word to use, but you know who he is, or seem to know something about him. So it seems to me that it will come to pass that you will meet him regardless of what happens.
Okay.
What I see is a
Unless I
gift.
stab her right now.
You could. What I see is a gift. It's like your name. Um, when she kind of stops her. When one who is able to give birth is born, the one who birthed them gives them a vision of the future. We don't know why. It's been a thing we've been doing for generations. Usually, it's just a fun trick. It's usually never useful, but it seems mine will be of some use to you. I
Well,
hope.
thank you for sharing it with me.
I think if you and Kieran and Halim don't have any objections, um, Mirren and I would like to leave.
Okay, I think they would probably like to say goodbye.
Okay. Should we go up, up? Kind of like points with one of her limbs.
I'll go get them.
She nods.
Sweet, I'm gonna be high for this exchange.
You kind of tip the vial, or do you smell it? Do you do anything first, or do you just drink it?
I'll smell it because if it like has a strong aroma, then it'll be clear that it's probably an inhalant. Like if
Kind
it
of
seems
smells
like
like
fumes.
Kind of smells sweet.
That sounds like a thing that I'm meant to drink then.
You're very excited to drink this as you tip it backwards.
I totally am because my character derives their swollenness from taking drugs.
And as it kind of slips past your lips, down your throat.
It turns into a big fat cock.
Oh my god.
Wow.
You kind of a grimace on your face, and then a realization, and then kind of a tinge of anger as you've tasted this before. This is a extremely common remedy for what would be the flu in Numenera
Ah.
that he's given you.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
You can kind of hear his laughter, like, in your head.
I drop the little vial on the ground and smash it under my weird iron boots.
Your mother comes out right at that moment as you're smashing this vial, and she looks at you and says, "You are going to clean that up, aren't you?" Some of us, and she looks down at her own feet, don't wear shoes.
Well,
And she walks past you around the pile of broken glass.
I get down on my hands and knees and sweep up the glass. Goddamn fucking barefoot motherfucker. Give me shitty cure the fucking flu virus. Fucking what an asshole. Can't believe the nerve of that guy.
You see pee coming up out of the hold.
There's always pee coming out of the hole.
Hold, not hole.
Oh.
D.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's also that's where pee comes out. It comes out of the D.
Oh my god, oh my god.
Is that the urethra,
Take me
actually?
into heaven, take me right now.
I'm sorry. Continue.
But yeah, you see pee.
P sort of whistles, to get both of your attentions, and Kieran points at you and goes, "Kieran, Halim, Miran, and Ito are going to leave, and I told them you wanted to say goodbye, so come say goodbye."
Yeah, I come say goodbye. I walk
All
over.
goes well.
You know, you're a strange thing, Murin, but I don't know, man. I've grown to like you over these couple of days.
Kind of nods at you, the head in his hands.
I hope the child rearing goes well. I hope that you guys don't run into this kind of bullshit again.
Oh no, Ito says. Next time, we'll just kill them.
Mm,
Why didn't you just kill them last time?
She looks at you and says, "Why did you make such a fuss when Kieran killed that man?"
Yeah, fair point. Fair point. You get me, Ito. And I tap my heart. I tap the breastplate above my heart.
She looks to you, P, or they look at you, P, and she says, "I hope I have been of some help to you, and
I
that
think
you
you
will
have.
find who you are looking for and do what you want to." And she kind of shrugs. I don't know. And she kind of turns towards Kieran and says, I didn't really talk to you, so I don't really have anything to say to you.
Fair enough.
And she, in her weird centipede form, like reaches in between two of the segments of her body and like pulls out like a half of a cube, and Mirren reaches in like side of himself, as he pulls his arms inside of himself as he does, and pulls out the other half, and he kind of chitters at her, and she says, yes, it would be more sensible next time to make two of these, they say as they lock them together and kind of dematerialize in front of you.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah, I guess we've done our good deed for the year, the century.
What are you doing? You hear
Is that Brandon asking us or someone from the crew?
you hear Carden like standing behind you. Are we having a meeting?
Oh, we're just saying goodbye to Murin and Ito.
Oh good, they're gone, the bug people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
the
went
bug
back to their
people.
own dimension, or they went back to their island.
Hopefully to live a happy life and raise scores, hundreds of children, centuries of children. And then one day they'll take over the world, I say, as I turn towards Court.
He kind of looks at you and shakes his head. Okay.
No one found that? Okay, cool. Apparently I'm not funny, says Salim. Because Raymond's fucking hilarious.
Right, so Ito showed me the future that she was given, a vision
Yeah.
of the future that she was given before she left, and our Purple Man is in it.
Okay, what does that mean in a practical sense?
I think it means that if we press on, we're going to find him.
Well, good.
And
Isn't that what you
Good.
want? Isn't that what you guys are after?
I've missed a lot of games, so I'm really not sure.
more meta.
You've been sick a lot, P.
I'm pretty sure the plan was to capture him and go defeat him because he's clearly a nefarious individual. He did murder a bunch of people.
Yeah. He like teleported out and caused that explosion in that bar, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what we're doing. We're seeking vigilante justice.
Extended vigilante justice.
Extraordinary rendition.
And he threatened Kieran's sister's life in a roundabout way.
So Kieran has a personal reason to want to do this quest solo, apparently.
And just, Brandon, remind me of the voice, what it said in the vision.
It said, the imprisoned one, he was lost. Then they were found.
Ooh. One and they.
Yeah.
What if it was like two components were fused back together? Like that fucking flute thing from our Gods and Monsters game.
What if
It's a gender-neutral term for a person.
What if
I once was lost, but now I'm found?
And then
No.
I died instantly.
Oh, so amazing, Grace.
I don't know the rest of that song, so.
Was
Good.
blind, but now
Sweet
you
aside.
Amazing Grace.
Remember the vague information that the real Grieve Binma gave you about a man came to his house,
Mm-hmm.
um, a Kryn Malia. He disappeared one day along with a number of the true Grieve Binma's Numenera devices, along with a helmet that the true Grieve Brynma found at the obelisk of the water god,
Mm-hmm.
which contained some kind of nefarious imprisoned spirit or intelligence or something.
Yep.
Oh, that's right, and it might be possessing him.
Yep.
All right. So I saw in the future that Ito showed me. I saw Grieve Binma, the purple man who we're chasing, standing in a gray room. A voice said, "The imprisoned one. He was lost. Then they were found." He turned around, and there was a black void that came from his helmet that swallowed everything up. So I think what that means is we need to go to this temple of the water god, figure out what it was he stole, what was in that helmet, and stop it from doing whatever it's doing.
Indeed.
Most deaf.
Right. So whether Kieran likes it or not, Halim, we could use your help.
Again, I said I don't care if he comes along.
Hmm. Or maybe you care too much, I say. I'm like,
I
you know
just
what?
raised an eyebrow at you.
I'm coming. Because, at the very least, I'm gonna see more of the world, and it's gonna be interesting shit, and if I die, I'd rather die doing something. Although, I'd prefer not to die at all. You know, if that's on the table.
It's a possibility. Probably a remote one, but definitely a
Either way, when
possibility.
we get to Omar, I need to get fucked up.
Is he talking about drugs?
Gordon. Yes! How do you think, and I gesture towards my muscular body, how do you think you maintain this physique? Tell you what, it's not through hard work.
Well, he kind of looks
Wow.
around.
Just wow.
You do a lot of hard work
Well,
on the ship.
yeah, but it's not just that. That's just the catalyst. The thing that makes it possible is what you put into your body. See, your body is kind of like a factory, and it needs resources. And if you put premium, high content resources in, you get out high grade product.
Halfway through your explanation, his eyes kind of have glazed over.
It's like
He's
he
kind of
doesn't want to know how to get jacked.
um, kind of looks around for a second and says, "Okay," and kind of wanders off. He seemed to have lost whatever interest he had in you.
Oh shit! What a shitty little piece of shit! I thought I was gonna have a useless minion for a while, an apprentice. I was gonna teach him how to get swole.
He's not like amazingly swole, but he is kind of swole. himself.
He could be more swole.
Mm.
You could be more swole, kid, if you just did these.
He just took these random drugs that I found.
They're on the ground.
Get good.
That means they're good.
Get good with drugs.
That's right.
I just sort of look at Cord and I'm just like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
He's kind of playing with his knife, like throwing it up in the air and watching it come down and kind of throwing it up in the air.
Whatever, I'll deal with that when we get to Omar. You can either stay on the ship or you can get the fuck off. You guys want to go talk to John?
Sure.
Sweet. I'm gonna go talk to John.
He is currently above deck, doing whatever someone on deck does.
He's looking at ropes and shit. I walk up to him. Hey, man. Did they find you a rack yet?
He nods. Yeah.
Sweet, sweet. So, we're heading to a place called Omar. It's a bit down the coast. We've got got a delivery to make there. If you want, you can get off there. That's where we're getting off. We've got some other business to attend to. But, I just wanted to let you know that there is currently a vacancy, a position going on this ship for a crew member. If you were interested in, a life on the sea. It's all temporary contracts, you can always get off at the next port, so, if ever you decide you don't want to work here anymore, you just kind of collect your last bit of pay and hop off.
Kind of nods at you. He's like, he's like, okay, sure.
Yeah? I can let the captain know that you'll be on for more than just Omar.
He kind of shrugs. I don't have anything else better to do.
Cool. Well, looking forward to it. Sadly, we won't be working together for a little while. I mean, just till Omar, because, like I said, I'm getting off. But, I'll show you around, help you get acquainted with the crew and whatnot, let you get a taste of your duties and shit. I think you're gonna like it. Working on the sea, very different to working elsewhere. There's sort of I don't know how to describe it. It's every morning you're waking up to a beautiful sight, and it helps keep you going. Personally, for me anyway, bit of adventure.
I think what Halim is trying to say is we're really sorry we ruined your life like that.
Well, I was trying
I'm
not to
not.
remind him of that.
He's kind of a racist asshole.
What, you've never accidentally joined a gang with some strange
Pretty
leanings?
sure it wasn't an accident.
Well, I'll let you guys get on with whatever you're doing, and I will
No, I want to hear more about
do
his
my
backstory.
duties.
Do
He kind of
you?
Give us
wanders
Just
off.
more of his backstory.
Did you want to hear more about his backstory? Because it sounded like you just wanted to insult it.
He has left.
Listen, my insulting was a great way to get him to go into his background about how he's a changed person now. About
He's not a changed person. He literally had his life ruined by us.
he's on a ship with a mutant person running it, and I don't know. I just think it could be interesting. Maybe we
It
could get
would
an
be
inside
interesting.
perspective.
It is totally interesting. But anyway.
So, P, what do you do while they talk and John kind of like wandered off to assumedly wash the deck or something?
Swab the deck.
After our exciting day of wandering through the sewers, I think I'm gonna go hit my bunk and get some sleep.
I know, right?
You hit that bunk.
Where'd that 10-hour rest?
Yeah.
Yes. So you may use all of the rests you want. let's see, how many days? I'll let you know how many days. Days, yo,
Do I even
days.
have? Okay. Can I just?
Days, yo, days.
Here I am.
Probably 2
My
days.
10-minute recovery roll. So a 5. Oh, whoops.
And then I'm gonna make a second one for the second day. Ooh, that was terrible.
And I'm
You
good.
You can use all of the all 4 of the rolls.
I only did 2, so.
So you can use 1 action, 10-minute, 1 hour, and 10-hour for the second day.
There we go.
Okay.
6. That should get me the rest of the way.
Does it reset?
3, 4, 5.
Yes.
So that's at 10 minutes. Okay. Another 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, I'm full up.
And so am I. Brilliant. That'll be good for the next run.
Right, and I'm up to my 1 hour. So.
We all get murdered. So, early on the 3rd morning, the ship pulls into the mining town port of Omar.
I look forward to hearing all about Omar. Presumably next run? Brandon shrugs as if to say, I don't know, maybe.
Well, I'm ready for this session to end so then I can get my experience points and get on to tier 3.
Eat a dick, Jacob.
Gladly.
You arrive in a rough and violent looking area. Men and women, all kind of rough and violent looking, prowl around. No one looks very nice. The town looks very dirty. Looks like a place where someone like Halim can call himself a home. No, I'm just joking.
A swarthy individual.
Yes. But yeah.
Good. I think I will have a good time trying to score next run. Drugs, not sex. Although, maybe sex drugs.
You never know.
Yeah. Cool. I really like that run. That was good. Did you have any more you wanted to say before we ended, Brandon?
Nope, I had nothing else to say. Because anything else I say, just... Anyways.
Would kind of start another run.
Yeah. Let's do it. Alright, here we go. No.
Cool, sweet. I liked it.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah. Cool. Alright, well, we're going to do our experience stuff, which you guys don't need to hear.
I'll be tier 3.
Fuck you. And we will see you all next time.